Hi guys, and welcome to my video on functions and how to organize your code in Roblox. Now functions are a lot like variables because they store information, and in this case the information is code, and you can run this code by calling the function. Let's just add a script to our empty baseplate. And now, why are functions useful? Say that you've got a block of code and you need to repeat it again and again. Then you can set this block of code as a function, and then you can just call it however many times you want, whenever you want. And this means that your coding is more concise, it's more clear, it's easier to understand, and there's less chance of making a mistake when typing out code again and again and again. So to make a function, what we need to do is we need to type in local, and then we need to say function. Function. Both these words will go blue to tell us that it's all fine and you haven't misspelt anything like I did. And then you'll need to name your function. So I'm just going to call this function my function. And then to finish off this line, whenever there's a function, you need to put double brackets at the end and press enter. So what it's doing is it's saying this function is a local function, it is a function, and it's named my function. And when you run it, the stuff which will run will be anything in between local function, my function, and the end. So in here we're just going to make the most simple block of code you can possibly make and just say print hello world. And then underneath we're going to run our function by simply saying its name and then putting double brackets at the end. So if we play this, then in the output hello world will appear. Good. Okay. Now, that didn't take very long to explain what functions were and how to use them, so now I'm going to be going over how to organize your code in Roblox. So this is actually really important, even though it doesn't sound very important, it is, because if you're writing code which is hundreds upon hundreds of lines long, you're gonna miss something, and if an error happens, then it's gonna be a real pain trying to find out what that error is and trying to read your way through so much code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how to use comments. You would put double dashes and then this turns it into a comment, and to note a comment it goes green. So this means that it is for the scripter's sake, so they can see what this piece of code is doing, and when the script runs, the Roblox will just completely ignore anything which is in after the double brackets. So here I'm just going to say test, and as you can see it's green, and then we can put our variables afterwards. Okay, now I also need to describe what local and global mean. So these are kind of complex. I didn't understand it the first time I heard it. So what local is it is a scope to where the variable or function applies. So say that we set up some containers and just say do and then enter, and these are just this is a container inside here. So in this container we're just going to say local test is equal to worked, there we go, and then we try and print test underneath. What it will do is it will give us an error, and this means that it can't actually find what test is. So unknown global test, so it has no idea what test is. If we run this very quickly, then you'll just see that it comes up with nil. So if there is a value and you're trying to print this value but Roblox can't actually find what the value is, then it will just say nil because it has no idea. But if we cut this by pressing Ctrl X and then putting under here by Ctrl V, then what will happen is it will be able to run, because this is inside the containers. The print test is inside the containers, so it will be able to find what test means. Okay, good. Now what happens if you really want to set your variable inside of containers and you want to use it and run it outside of containers? what you do is you make it into a global variable. Now, to make it into a global variable, all you need to do is just delete the local at the start, and this will mean that the error has disappeared and it can now find what test is. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend doing something slightly different, and as you can see, it works. What you would probably want to do is get rid of all that and just make a local variable up at the top, and this means that as it isn't in any containers, it can be used throughout the whole script. And then you can do all of your coding underneath it. The way that I'd organise your coding is have the variables at the top, and then the functions slightly further down, and to have then what's actually happening in your code further down after that. So it goes variables, functions, and then what's happening. And all these are separated up into what they're doing using comments, and that will give your code a really clean look, and you'll be able to go through it and know what's happening. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.